and drew a line and tell them, just hold your horses. You understand? So we came to the point that we realized, it's very important that as a St. Martiner, we are able, even as an individual, to identify ourselves, And a card is a way, is a symbolic way to identify yourself without having to argue, because a Frenchman isn't going to argue with you whether or not he's French. A Dutchman isn't going to argue with you whether or not he's a Dutch. He's going to show his passport. You understand? So we realize we have to take it to that next level where we define ourselves, through our ID card. And it was made easy for us in the sense because none of the both governments wanted or could identify the St. Martin people because it's not nationality. So we had that wonderful opportunity basically to say, well, okay, who else to identify ourselves than we? You see, so we took that bold step, and that bold step is a very important step. You understand? Because not only we can identify ourselves as an individual, but also as a group of people, because at a given moment, it means that all card holders basically are linked to each other one way or the other. You understand? So when you look at that group, and that group is expected to grow, that group will become a constituency eventually. You understand? They'll have in common that, hey, they have roots here in this country, and they are linked to each other. And that will give them a big clout, in talking with government. Because one of the reasons that government never basically paid attention to us was the numbers. They were being politically correct, you know that. Why they dealt with the Haitians, the Dominicanos, and whatever? Because those people organize themselves, period. I know what I'm talking about. They organize themselves with numbers and tell government, what are you doing for us now? And all our politicians on the front side right now, they run to those groups. You understand? So, if we as St. Martin people, if we don't organize ourselves, if we don't come together as a people, and what is nice about this whole process is we could reserve the right, to dislike each other. We could reserve the right, and this goes to politicians too, because right now we're in the political season on the front side. I think what is important for politicians, for St. Martiners, that politicians find a way to establish a common ground. You see, and that common ground should be identifying St. Martiners, recognize St. Martiners, and making sure St. Martin should come first, period. They could disagree on everything else, but on that, they shouldn't disagree. And in that sense, Billy, we have to give you credit, and we know you're going to take it to the next level, because 2 years ago, you organized a manifestation in my regard, because you realize the importance of the Treaty of Concordia for us as a people. Because our strength as a people is that we are one indivisible people with certain rights, with certain rights that are anchored in the Treaty of Concordia. Now there are some people that will say the Treaty of Concordia was not established for us. Now who cares? We lived it. We lived the spirit of the Treaty of Concordia. And as such, that Treaty of Concordia and our way of life, meaning as one people traveling back and forward, living on both sides of the island, you name it, that has become an unwritten law. That's unwritten law. So based on that, we can really claim, as St. Martin's, and that's something that we believe that, you will do, is to capitalize on that, because that brings St. Martin's together.
Well, the word is not only capitalized, but the word is, what I wanted to bring out, what I still want to bring, what is my message for 2012, during this whole election thing, is to make people understand that the problem that we're having today is because we're not taking the Treaty of Concordia into consideration.
Exactly.
People are coming from other countries, such as America,
yes,
showing you where the American could be at home in St. Martin because of a treaty, while we have a treaty that nobody respects.
And their treaty is not as old as the treaty.
Exactly. So the message, and you said it right, the whole story behind that manifestation, and that is my message, and that is what I would love to enforce anytime I get elected, is to leave people know that we have to work on the Treaty of Concordia.
Definitely.
It's the only document that's going to solve the problem on this island.
Absolutely, because as Jesse said, maybe you want to say it for yourself, think to the driver's license.
Okay. Well, like again I said, I addressed one of our government officials on Monday to another short interview, short discussion. And what I really told him is that our problem with the driver's license, could be answered very quickly. I like to share with the public also that the problem could be solved easily by adjusting the Treaty of Concordia. Why? The driver license, for instance, fall exactly under the same context, based on the fact that a St. Martin is a St. Martin, Marigot, or in Phillipsburg. An immigrant to this island comes in, he either get rights to Marigot or to Phillipsburg. So your driver's license only require you to have that for the northern side or the southern side. So it's up to you. But then if you use the Treaty of Concordia, the driver's license will never have an issue for the St. Martin grassroots person.
And here's the
Because he'll be able to use the license. He's free to move left or right, northern side or southern side.
And here's the link to the Treaty of Concordia, believe. And here's where you can play such an important role, especially as ambassador now. The link between the Treaty of Concordia and the ID card is something that we are going to see recurring all the time. Because more and more people are realizing, that you have to make a distinction at a given moment, and that's not to put on people, but to be able to grant St. Martin certain privileges, you are going to have to know who's a St. Martiner. You understand what I'm saying? And the St. Martin is not identified by nationality. So this card is a wonderful opportunity to define the St. Martins. In other words, card holders should be the ones that benefit from everything the Treaty of Concordia has to offer. You understand what I'm saying? If you take the situation on Curacao, recently there was this gentleman here on this radio station, I heard him, Mr. Helmin Wills from Curacao, and he basically told St. Martiners that they have to stand up for their right because that's what he is doing on Curacao. And on Curacao they passed a law, an 80-20 law, labor law, meaning that at least 80% of all work has to go to Curacaoians.
They did pass that law.
It's a law. But in order to be executed, they have defined the Curacaoian. You see, and that's what I'm saying all the time. When they said from day one, people didn't understand. You are going to have to define the St. Martin. There ain't no way to get around that. You can reach a chapter 100. At a given one, you can scratch your head. You can say, hey, we're lacking something. Let's go back to chapter 99. And then you realize, no, we have to go back to chapter 1. In the beginning, there was a St. Martiner. You have to define the St. Martiner.
You can make a football team unless you know who are going to be playing with your team. If you pick a side to go play, you have to know you have a goalkeeper, you have a forward line, you have a defense. You understand? You have to structure the whole thing and realize who are to play in that team, and then you put a uniform before you get the team get on the field. So you're able to identify, the referee able to identify the guys in the blue shirt or the guy in the red shirt playing with the opposite side. So you have to really identify your people. We can't go nowhere. We can't start nothing until we find who's a St. Martin.
And in Curacao, James, that law has been passed.
It's passed, yes.
So if you're doing anything in Curacao, 80% of the workforce has to be Curacao.
Period. Yeah. And what is so nice on St. Martin, and here is it, we realize they can call in right now. We have discussed it with all politicians basically, and they all agree, but they are afraid. Because they are afraid to take that step. Yeah. Because they are politicians. They're looking at numbers. But all agree. None is going to call in right now and say they disagree. None. I challenge them. You see? So they know at a given moment you cannot get away from defining the St. Martin. Now, since they can't do it, it has to be done, and the St. Martins are suffering, and the situation is getting worse and worse, we decide to take the initiative. But at the same time, we remain open to say, well, listen, we are willing to sit down with governments to tweak that definition so that we come to a consensus on, who's a St. Martiner. And here's where we hope you will be willing to, to assist us. You understand? Because we're not saying, that we will never, be willing to look at the definition and to see how we can adjust it, but it has to be done. And a definition is better than none.
Even if it's a bad definition. To find who's a St. Martin, there is criteria.
Yes, again, we went back to the book of Daniela Jeffrey, the work she did. And there's a reason for that. You understand? But the point is, listen, we are going ahead, with or without government. And look what is interesting. What is interesting in the meantime, the interest of the card is growing enormously. Not in numbers as your let's say, family card at the moment. But there's a complete different type of card.
Yeah.
Your
But
family card.
it is still a card that identifies who you are.
Yes, exactly.
Because if you ask me what radio station I listen to and I show you a SOS card,
Yeah, exactly.
it is identifying that I listen to SOS. It is an identification card.
That's absolutely correct. That's absolutely correct. It's identification on different levels.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? But what is so interesting is, and Jesse can confirm that, we are getting requests, because the card now, your card is based on heritage, because by heritage you are St. Martin. But we have also left space and room to do what you are doing to include people that have added value that are not St. Martin by heritage. So people who basically made a contribution one way or the other towards our way of life. You understand? And we have a great number of people from other ethnic groups who are very interested in those cards. And why? Is because they realize that eventually, their kids and their grandkids, if they really want to live in this country, it's going to be crucial for them to be accepted by the grassroots people. Not necessarily by politicians, not necessarily by, a French or a Dutch paper. That's important, yes, but if you really want to be accepted, as one of the people in the country, the best way to do that is through the grassroots people.
Think we have a card there. Carl,
Sure.
good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you.
Good morning.
As again a strong advocate to the cause of our ancestors and reminding others that we do have a base and we do come from an existence, we do have a linkage, and therefore those who are coming to the island and looking to be part of us, we cannot blame them because at times we do not identify or mandate that they defend and recognize our culture. They more than just back in their own country. So today I want to commend you, Dr. Leopold JAMES. Also I want to continue to give you God's grace as we continue in this, I don't think the struggle is recognition. I do have with me presently in the car the first copy. So I am letting the lady also know that he's not alone with it. I have probably received my first copy sometime back.
That's right.
And I continue to say to the people, it's not a moment to be scared. It's a moment that globally people are being identified because they have to have a linkage, a heritage, and people need to know exactly who they are.
Yeah.
We are faced with a challenge on the Dutch side right now that the new ID card for country St. Martin is being identified. Before 10-10-10, everyone now linked as born in the Netherlands entities. After 10-10-10, those who are receiving the new ID card will be considered St. Martiners. So this is critical that while this process is going to take away your identification, which of the islands of the Antilles you came from, or your heritage to, this is critical that this card becomes a factor that we are able then to identify ourselves as heritage of the island of St. Martin. So again, thank you guys very
Thank you
much.
very much, Greg. Thank you, and Greg, I must thank you in particular because
Find the symbol.
you have
I'm
been
going to prison.
absolutely.
When it came to the fact of seeing the national symbol of the island being portrayed at the Carnival Village as the moment, the windmill, we are Dutch.
You go way back.
Today again, I read in the paper the harbor is getting ready to close the green zone. But they're realizing that someone said in the parliamentarian.
We are afraid of our own
that they
identity.
do not see the Dutch heritage or the cruise ship passengers said they don't see the linkage of Dutch heritage on the island. And therefore this new project is going to have a complete package with the windmills and all of that again to feel we are Dutch. So gentlemen, keep
Thank you
on
very much.
the battle.
Thanks.
Greg, thank you very much. Really appreciate it. Okay.
Definite.
Thank you very much, Greg. Thank you.
And he said something that the politicians then don't get his card, then they're not identifying themselves either as a St. Martin.
It's up to them. I mean, it's just the beginning of the process. I mean, we have a long way to go.
But you're saying it's up to them, but at a certain point it's gonna be we have to.
Yeah,
Let's take this card. Carl,
Sure.
good morning. Morning.
Just your program is very interesting, and I would like to congratulate Billy D and all the best
Thank you.
from you.
All right, you tell Carl, good morning.
Morning, Billy D. Good
Morning.
listening to your guest there. I need to ask Mr. James a question.
Sure.
The card that he's giving out, It seems to me, and it's just a question, it seems to me like it's been given to only certain people that have done great in the community. Yeah? So my point is, if you want to identify as St. Martin, isn't it possible to give all St. Martin, once you know that there are a St. Martin, one of these cards so they can identify themselves? Because if it's only going to be given to a certain group, then what happened to the other St. Martin? That's what my view is. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your call, and I think this is very interesting and it's going in a good direction. Because there was a time when we talked about these things, people laughed. now everybody wants to have their card. It's very interesting. I remember some time ago we had a program on another radio station, and as I walked in, there was a young lady there, and I never met a young lady. And before I catch myself, she attacked me that she didn't get her card and she deserved her card, and I had to laugh because. Here am I now, since 81, struggling and fighting and sticking out my neck for St. Martin people and try to make them understand, that what I'm doing is in their interest, etc. And many of them never cared, never whatever. And now, all of a sudden, people are demanding their cards. That is, in and of itself, is interesting. But let me answer the gentleman now. The idea is actually, we would love to have, for every St. Martin to have a card. But the point is, we are not going to force a card down anybody's throat. There's a procedure. If anyone can claim their St. Martin heritage, and we have done the application, we have made it very, very easy, they can do it. It's there for months. We've been talking about it for months. It's on our website, and we have simplified it, so people don't have to come with a bunch of documents. You can go to our website, you can see exactly how to go about it, and once you fill out that form, you send it to us, we take care of the rest. So basically, if it's up to us, we would love to have every St. Martiner walk around with their card. But at the same time, we don't want people to get an impression, because people have been saying that, James and his card, So that's why we said, if I'm the only one, I go wear it by myself. But if people want it, all they have to do is apply. If they don't know how to apply exactly, they can contact
Give us a website there, James, the website.
The website is www.stmartin.org. So I repeat, www.stmartinnation.org. Or you can contact myself, Jesse, or Larissa Hodge, or Diana Hodge. Any one of our board.
Now, James, time is
or later on, Mr. Benedict, I'm sure you'll be.
Yeah, but it's something that you basically open up on that I didn't want to open up until the time we hit. But
Okay.
And that's my belief, and I know that you're going in that direction. If we do not look deeply into the Treaty of Concordia, we're going to have a problem with this island for the rest of our life.
It's over for us.
We need, whether it needs to be rewritten, but there must be a document that links the island as one. And that is my campaign. That's what I want to see what the people are saying.
I would love to make one remark here. And it's a matter of giving credit is due. We found out that treaty has been amended in the past already.
16 times.
By St. Martiners.
Yeah,
I got my hand on one edition, and it's absolutely great.
Yeah.
People that were involved were people like Daniela, people like Mr. Groeneveld, who is the acting governor, I think Lassana Sekou, and a number of other people. It's a great work, and I cannot sit here and take credit because they have done a lot of work at a time when I myself wasn't aware of the importance of it. So I think we should contact those people and other people and rewrite and amend the Treaty of Concordia to meet today's reality as St. Martin.
Because you remember the case when the American took the government to court.
Yes.
Here's a treaty that permits him to take the government to court.
I go further.
And yet I don't have a legal step. I mean, 2 minutes away from where I live,
Yes.
which is the other side.
True.
It's like if once we as French national cross the border, you're in a different country. Yet you're in the same island.
But I'll explain you something. Sorry to interrupt you. But I have to make this difference between what this guy did, taken government to court based on the treaty of the friendship treaty between
Yeah.
America and Holland, I think the name is. You know, when you look at it, it's ridiculous because that treaty has only been, as far as I know, a paper something on the books. The Treaty of Concordia is not only on paper. The Treaty of Concordia, we have lived it. We are the living, the embodiment. We St. Martiners, you know, in our lifestyle, is the embodiment of the spirit of Concordia, the Treaty of Concordia. As such, we have lived it over 350 odd years. That makes it law.
Common law.
That's common law. That is law. Period. You understand? That is law. That's something we don't realize enough. That is law. So based on that, everyone who claims to be a St. Martin and there's an ID card can help. Basically, there is only one island. They should be able to move freely all over the island and do whatever the Treaty of Concordia, you know, allows, and continue our way of life. And that's why what you did back then, May the 15th, 2010, that's the beginning of a revolution, beginning of a mental revolution where we realize the power that we have as a St. Martin people. But in order to execute that, we have to identify ourselves. We have to be able to show who is a St. Martin.
Carla, good morning. Go ahead, Jesse.
Yeah, well, I just wanted to clarify something when the gentleman called about the ID card. This is based on the recommendation from the President, Mr. Leopold James. I was sent by a meat photo to find out if he had the capabilities of producing a card. Because right now we only have one place where we get an ID card. But then the owner, Mr. Hansi, told me that he was not possibly don't have the material to produce a card. Because what we wanted is have a base. The people from the southern side of the island could have a place close to them where they could go and get the picture taken and have the card made and everything. So that's one of what kept back with the card.
I'm sure it will come.
So we're working on that,
Exactly.
to a place on this side of the island where they can go more easily.
But we're gonna have to continue this type of program. I'm gonna 2000 from now on. Let's say from now on, we're gonna need James to open up the doors for this.
As a whole, we would love to work along with you when it comes to that Treaty of Concordia.
Not only the Treaty of Concordia, but what I'm saying is you're gonna have to get more time on this radio station so we can explain. Because
I think that would be great.
and like you said, I'm going to encourage among my family card members to also get the St. Martin identification card because it's important.
Definitely.
Not only. Let's say if something happened to me somewhere, this is a card I have on me.
I does not work without my card. And when you ask me for identification card, that's the card I take.
But you use it
I
already.
use it in a post wherever I go. I use it.
Yeah.
That's why I use it.
Until the government one day will have to recognize.
Well, I hope the president one day will come for his card because he told me once he wants his card. So, Mr. President, Honorable Mr. President Franz Gums, hey, just a phone call away, just a click on the computer away, and
The idea of the card started back when, Gene.
I don't know if you can say exactly when, but I remember what caused it though. It happened right here, I think, in this station when Mr. Eldridge from Pullman was a guest of yours, and I think someone called in, and there was one big argument between Eldridge and this gentleman. This gentleman married a St. Martin lady, but his roots are from Dominica, and he had one big argument with Eldridge, and that really touched me off because then I realized, hey, you are going to have people that come here because what happens if we don't put on our feet? People are bold. You know that. People are bold because they realize, hey, St. Martins are walkovers. Who are you to come and argue with a St. Martin now in terms of who's a St. Martin and what rights you have, like similar to a St. Martin?
It makes me something, right? The problem is that people come here and they say they make themselves a St. Martin.
Exactly.
Now, I would like to make this very clear to a lot of people that are listening right now. You cannot make yourself somebody's husband or make yourself somebody's wife. Take good notice what the priest asked you to ask. Do you take this person as your wife? Do you take this person as your husband? You cannot make yourself a St. Martin. That's why we have the honorary card. It's a St. Martin that honor you and accept you as part of them.
And recognize
you
your
go to somebody's house,
yes, exactly.
you don't walk in a person's house, you ask, can I come in?
Exactly.
Well, the person say, come Mr. Dean, you can walk in. Come Mr. Yes, you can walk in. You just don't walk in the house You ask permission, or the person give you permission to come in. Okay? And the same as being in St. Martin is the same thing. What is actually happening to St. Martin right now? Based on the people, and that is why we try to get our people more mentally stable and understanding their rights, is because we have a problem on St. Martin, lack of policies. You understand? If we have policies well written, there will be no problem in St. Martin, such as the treaty and all of the working laws and everything else. As you see, the Pelican is in problem, lack of policies, lack of government policies and the work labor policies will have to be implemented. You come to the island, you take up a booklet, and this will tell you exactly what you can do and what you cannot do.
They go to Rome, you do like the Romans did.
Okay, and that policy can be based on you.
Tell me about that. Did you agree with what the Queen did when she went to?
Let me tell you something to start with.
Because a lot of people felt that she should have just gone as a queen.
Let me put it this, Billy. I am not a Dutch. I have a Dutch passport. My wife is Dutch, and she has a Dutch passport. She's Dutch, right? So I'm not going to talk for the Dutch. I'll talk for St. Martin people. But I'll say this. I wish that we St. Martiners were like those people, I don't know which country it was, Oman or whatever, that have such a strong consciousness, such a strong spirit, that when you come here, you can be queen, you can be emperor or wherever else. When you're here, you're going to have to respect our norms and our values.
So you agree with what the Queen did? Basically, she went in their country.
If I was an Omanese, and I said it was Oman, what choice did she have? She ain't queen of Oman. She's queen of some country called Holland. But when you go to Rome, what you do? You behave as the Romans, and that's something we St. Martins have to learn.
Yep.
And this is something, and oftentimes we blame foreigners. I don't always blame foreigners because basically there are a lot of good foreigners that love St. Martin and that really want to make St. Martin their home. But they are waiting for us as St. Martins to take a stance. Something wrong with us, not with anybody else.
But they keep telling us that all the time.
Because let me tell you something, Billy.
The true loving foreigners keep on telling us that.
Because Billy, let me tell you something. I always say this: a foreigner, whoever, can only abuse me if I allow him to abuse me.